talking with Eric Monder, professor of film at Bethany College, and you are doing a Kansas film series here.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's a series funded by the KHC, the Kansas Humanities Council, and it is a 10-week series this spring at the McPherson Opera House about the films made in or about Kansas. And we've chosen 10 of them, so it's over a 10-week span, right up till mid-May. And we're very excited about all the reception we've had so far, very large crowds and good press and a lot of good word of mouth. And we're also very grateful to not just the KHC and the Opera House, but really the entire community and their support.
How do you determine what films you showed in the series?
Well, I picked the 10 based on, first of all, they had to be about Kansas in some way or another, and they also had to have some historical significance. For example, it might be a movie about Kansas history, as we had last week with Dodge City. But even though it may be a distorted history, it's an interesting take on Kansas history, so we wanted to actually talk about that in the discussion afterwards, which we always have. And last week's guest speaker was Bill Schaefer, who also presented a documentary about the premiere of the film, because the film was not actually made in Kansas, but the premiere was at Dodge City. And Bill made a really great short documentary for his KTWU channel, Sunflower Journeys channel, about that premiere. And there's terrific footage of the stars coming to Dodge, and also the big crowds that came back in 1939. And some of the footage is in color, and so we were as excited about showing the film as we were about the documentary.
So tonight you're showing 7 Angry Men.
Right, and that's a film, again, not made in Kansas, but obviously about Kansas, because it concerns John Brown and the abolitionist movement. And we will be comparing that film to another one in clip form with our guest speaker tonight, who is Bruce Kaler, history professor at Bethany College. And it will be an interesting evening, because I'm not sure what the reaction will be with the audience. And there's a lot of ambivalence about John Brown.
Now you write criticism for a publication.
Right.
Which one is that?
It's called Film Journal International. It's also at filmjournal.com.
What goes into film criticism? A lot of people, I'm sure, have an idea of,
Sure.
Roger Ebert and at the
Right.
movies. And
Well, it depends on who's doing the criticizing.
Mhm.
In my case, I like to make comments on movies that will be useful in some way. And there is a whole consumer aspect to film criticism, but of course it's all subjective as well. So I try to bring as much background and knowledge that I can to the film and what I'm seeing, and try to illuminate or highlight
favorite films?
favorite films. I'm not
going to give you a number.
I'm not big on 10 best lists, because that tends to change for me.
Right.
But I in general, I do like certain more complex films that are challenging or make you think. It doesn't mean that a simple light comedy or an action adventure can't be entertaining and that I wouldn't like it. It's just I tend to watch and enjoy more compelling films that are multi-layered. And that can be anything from an Alfred Hitchcock movie from the 40s, or it could be something much more recent. There are any number of ones. I just reviewed a movie called I Travel Because I Have to, and it's a little documentary with a partly fictional story as part of it, and it's all told from one character's point of view, and you never actually see the character. It's all subjective camera throughout the whole entire film. It's an interesting technique, and it works in this particular case.
I remember seeing a film like that several years ago. It was a Vietnam film. I think it was called 84 Charlie Mopik. And you never saw the main character until the end. Everything was filmed through his camera.
Right.
Single camera set up.
Yeah, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, there was that infamous Hollywood experiment called Lady in the Lake, where the whole movie was told from the point of view of Philip Marlowe, the detective. And I don't think it worked very well in that case. And yeah, it was a brave experiment, but it just didn't work very well. And in this case, and maybe in the movie you saw, it just seemed to work a lot better. And it was really an interesting movie, and it made you think, because you were sort of brought into this person's world and it was developed. The film developed a character that wasn't any real person you ever saw.
Right.
So, and all along there's this documentary aspect to the film as well, because it deals with the water rights in Brazil, and what this geologist is asked to do is reroute a part of the water stream in this very arid community. So he realizes along the way that the people that are living in the community won't benefit from what he's actually doing. So he starts to question his own place in the world and the work he's doing, and it actually becomes a very sad movie in some ways.
Okay, wrapping up.
Yes.
What led you to want to get into this field?
Well, I've always enjoyed film. At an early age, I watched movies, so I can't really even tell you when that started. And I find it to be one of the most interesting of the art forms, because it encompasses so many different aspects of the arts, as well as a reflection of society, and it really has just fascinated me all my life. So it's a little hard to say what got me started.
All right. Well, the Kansas Film Series is going to be running weekly, I believe?
Weekly, every Thursday night, 7 p.m. This beautiful McPherson Opera House, and our host, John Holacek, has done a terrific job with the restoration, and we're really glad to be able to present